What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. And Shawn, we are in the end game now.
We are. Richard, we do. So everybody knows when we have episodes that ends in a 3 or an 8, we do drafts, right?
Right.
So everybody's probably like, oh my God, this is a 3. It's a draft, right? No. Because sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's snaps of fingers.
Yep.
Stuff happens, and we got to talk about it.
So many things.
And that is what happened. So you and I both saw this movie on Thursday.
3 hours and 2 minutes of things.
Oh, it's the culmination of 11 years, 21 movies, and it was a Avengers Endgame.
Yes. I had to actually, when I was in the theater, I had to look back because I couldn't remember them all. I was sitting there trying to remember every single movie.
Which one did you always miss? There was 2 or 3 that I kept missing.
I always ended up getting to 17 and 17 or 18. But it was because I'm not exactly sure which one to forget. I think I would just forget the ones that I counted.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh crap, now I gotta start over. Okay. So there's Iron Man 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do them in order. I think that would be the more challenging one because there's a spot.
No, I agree. I couldn't do them in order,
but I do. So what I always like to talk about with these is because it was a big event movie. So I like talking about okay, what was it like when you first got there? So for me, I actually got there. My showing was at 10:10. Yours was at 7:30.
Mine was at 7:30. So it was raining.
Ew.
So
God was already crying.
Exactly.
And he didn't want to spoil it.
Nope, he didn't. And he didn't. So it was raining. I actually made the mistake of, not mistake, because I was fine. I got there probably 40 minutes before my show actually started.
Okay.
So that's how long I waited. I thought about it, I was like, oh, because they told me, because I picked up the tickets that day, and they're like, okay, well, the doors to the theater open at 6:30, and my show was at 7:30. I was like, should I be here at 6:30?
Also, they only gave you an hour.
Well, an hour to get to a seat.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. What was I thinking?
They're saying they open the doors to the actual theater to get a seat at 6:30.
Was that one of the first shows?
Yes, there was one show before that at 6.
So that's the way it works at where I'm from too. So if it's one of the first 2 shows or first 3 shows where it's got its own theater, they usually open an hour early, which is nice because if you get there 2 hours early, you're only waiting an hour. You got your seat, you're sitting down, you're comfy.
Agreed. So like I said, so I got there about 30 minutes early, and I was with my wife and all 3 kids.
Oh wow!
So trying to find 5 seats,
yeah, was a challenge.
So I actually ended up sitting front row center. That's where I sat.
So it was packed when you got there.
It was packed when I got there. There were seats open, but it was kind of that thing where I was like, oh, dude, you'd see 2 seats here, you'd see 3 seats here, but I did not find 5 seats together. Yeah. Number 1. Number 2 is maybe those seats are taken. I don't know. So I was just like, whatever. I was like, there's 5 seats here. I was like, let's just do this.
At least you got to sit together. So you didn't have to sit by yourself.
No, everybody sat together.
No, I get that. That's how I'd want to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't really an option. I was like, oh, why don't 2 people sit here and 3 people? No, I didn't care. I was like, let's all, sit. So I did, and I did end up sitting front row center, which initially put me off. I'm not gonna lie. Initially it would throw me off. Oh, I'm sitting front row. I was like, this is gonna suck. My neck's gonna hurt the whole time.
Did you almost have let's just go? We're not watching this. Endgame's ending now.
I'm ending this game right here, right now.
We're gonna see spoilers anyway, guys. We'll know what happens.
Yeah. No, that is not what I did. Honestly, by the end, I told about 30 minutes in, I totally forgot didn't care where I was sitting. It didn't really, I don't feel like it affected me at all in terms of my viewing experience. I say with air quotes.
I think if you get stuck on it, sometimes it will. Like you almost have to make yourself upset about it while the movie's going on because you'll get immersed in it if it's a good movie, which this one obviously was.
Yeah,
but yeah, I got there 2 hours early. I was the second person in line because I didn't want to end up. One, I knew it was a long movie.
Right.
I have a small bladder.
You do.
So the odds of me having to pee in this movie were pretty good.
Right.
And the theater we're going at, there's one row where there's like a good 3.5, 4 foot of length. It's like not the back row. It's like the third or fourth row from the back. So if I had to go tinkle, I get up, I can walk. I'm not bugging anybody.
Yeah.
And it's just more comfy there.
Okay.
And I want to be center. So when we get there, there's this other group that shows up a few minutes after us, and there's a girl who's like, I'm going to reenact all of Infinity War. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And she gets about 10 minutes in. I'm like, wait a minute. Infinity War's on Netflix. Let's just watch it.
Yeah. She's like, I'm almost done putting on the my makeup. Hang on.
But
this is Thanos in a box. This is Thanos pulling a rope. This is crying Thanos.
This is happy Thanos. Oh no, a windstorm. But it worked out pretty well because we wait there for an hour. I got my snacks, ate my snacks, and we go in and sit. And packed house. And
yeah.
Like Infinity War was like this, the Star Wars have been like this, and to me, there's nothing better than that great audience experience for like these type of things. Like the audience clapping at the right moments. And,
yeah.
When we
Agreed.
first get in there and you go through the trailers and when the trailers kick off, everybody's been waiting, like I said, 2 hours. So they're just clapping, they're excited. And then the movie kicks in and everybody's excited.
Yeah.
And my group was really good. Like there's some kids behind us that afterwards were kind of like, meh. And I was like, well, all right, you're just that kind of dude, I think.
They were meh?
Yeah. He was complaining the whole way down. But the rest of the crowd was super into it. And I mean, I've got plenty of notes to go over. And I kind of want to start with the very beginning.
I was super happy with my theater going experience. Honestly, like I mean, like I might be one to clap if other people are clapping. Kind of like it's this mob mentality where you kind of like, oh well, everybody else is, so I guess it's acceptable. This movie, I would say. I wasn't paying attention to the audience reaction, but I was reacting with the audience.
Yeah, like subconsciously.
Like things happen, I was like, oh!
Yeah. I kind of
and everybody else was, oh!
I kind of wish that I had the more like because I'm a quiet viewer. Like I usually don't clap even when other people clap. There was a joke in here where I was the only one in the theater that laughed. It's happened to me multiple times. And when we talk about it, it'll either be my age or the fact that you shouldn't have laughed at it. I don't know which.
Yeah.
But I love, being there for those interactions. But I wish I was the kind of person that'd be like, no, yes, no, oh God, get him. But I feel the best part of this movie, not the best part, but this movie starts off right away kicking you in the balls. Last trailer plays.
Okay, wait a minute. We're okay. So how? I mean, I guess okay. So we're doing our own personal thoughts on this movie. I think it's safe to say that we liked it. Like we're in the bag for this anyway. So I mean I don't think that that's I don't think that that's something that's in contention.
No,
people are like, gee, I wonder what those two guys think.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about doing like reviews on movies before. We're like, oh, we should do that, and then it comes out, and it's like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
I don't really want to shit on something for an hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so the thing I was getting to is like, are we kicking this right off into like, hey, if you haven't seen this movie, don't listen anymore. Press stop.
I think at this point you skip ahead or you wait because we're gonna get into spoiler territory. It's been out for 3 days, but I mean, $300 million worth of people have seen it. I think.
That's you guys have. Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, like
everybody in the English speaking world's seen it at this point, right?
But spoilers are galore. We're going into it. Thoughts, what we saw, what theories.
Plus, I feel like when it comes to when it comes to like this kind of movie. If you're listening to this, it's because you want to hear what we have to say. and you've already seen it.
Yeah, or you don't care.
Exactly. And if you don't care, you're not listening to this. If you don't care about the movie, you're not listening to this anyway.
Yeah. And I'm the kind. That's why I wanted to go on Thursday. And I like to go to the first showings because I even have concerns on movies like this, like somebody walking out of the theater and be like, "Oh my god, did you see X, Y, and Z?" And you're like, "Fuckers."
I'll tell you what, I was super surprised. My kids are 100% conscious of that.
Oh, nice.
Like as soon as they walked out of the theater, they're like, "Now we can't talk about it until we get to the car."
Yeah.
Like let's wait until we get to the car, then we'll talk about it because maybe there's somebody that we walk past that hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
So let's wait until we get in the car.
That's a big like Star Wars and like the last Infinity Wars really kind of hung into that.
Yeah.
I know. I always said like Infinity Wars, when you walked out of Infinity Wars, it felt like you were leaving a funeral. Like
a little bit.
Like nobody's looking at each other, nobody's talking, nobody's making eye contact with people there.
Just sad. You just walk past. Everybody's like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "I can't.
Yeah,
I just can't."
But I love this movie. What I feel. So again, jumping into spoilers, but this movie like jumps in right away and kicks you right in the balls.
Yeah, it does.
There's no like you see the was this before the Marvel piece? Like,
I know exactly what you're saying, and yeah, it was.
It jumps right in, like trailers in, and it jumps into this, and you see Clint Barton, Hawkeye, teaching his daughter how to shoot an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Super sweet moment.
It's a very sweet moment.
You saw it in the trailers, and like he becomes Ronin, and you're like, they all got snapped. Like you know it's gonna happen. I wasn't prepared to see it.
No. Like you knew it was gonna happen. I was like, "Oh shit!" They got.
Yeah.
You thought like you see it in the trailer, and you're like, "Oh, it's probably like a flashback thing." Nope.
Yeah.
That's how we're starting off.
Yeah.
We're starting off the movie with Clint losing his fucking mind,
and like it wasn't like he saw it, like because as an audience we know what's happening. He's looking at his family. It's a cute little interaction, and then he looks back to where his daughter was, and she's gone.
Yeah.
Did you see the dust?
A little bit,
like a little bit, of the dust.
Bit.
And he's like, "Well, where the heck did you go?" And then you look over, and his two sons are gone. His wife's gone, and he has no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And like right away, you're like again, it was just like at the end of Infinity Wars. Like the audience is like, "Oh,
yeah,"
because they the
whole thing was a big fucking shock.
Yeah.
Like that honestly surprised me in the first 5 minutes because you were sitting there and you're like, you knew it was going to happen. But the second it did, like I heard everybody in the crowd, everybody in the theater was like, "Oh,
yeah."
Like you knew that was coming.
It still was a kick in the balls. I mean, like you said, I was expecting it to be a flashback. I was expecting like them to find Ronin and his Ronin persona, and then he'd be like, "Oh my god, like my family was snapped, so I'm killing every motherfucker I can find."
So okay, so here's my big thing with the movie, and not thing is in a bad thing, but here's my first. If someone asked me, like, you know, to encapsulate this movie is okay. This is the thing that I actually like ran this through my head. I remember consciously running this through my head. So the whole thing with Hawkeye happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then Iron Man's out in space.
Yeah.
Now all this are things you see you see in the trailer. You know, Iron Man's out in space. And then he talks about how they're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
They're out of gas. They're drifting around in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then Captain Marvel shows up. That you didn't see.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people who are saying, like, I bet Captain Marvel, either Gamora's going to save him, or not Gamora, what's the robot chick's name?
Nebula.
Nebula's going to save him, or Captain Marvel's going to show up. That was kind of the theories that were floated around.
Okay. So then he lands. So then they all come to Earth. At this point, you don't see, Captain Marvel showing up. Like, you don't get that scene at all. Because if you watch the end credits scene in Captain Marvel, she's there.
Yeah.
She shows up.
Yeah, they kind of
so you don't need, we don't need, so basically so first off, that tells this movie's telling me, like, we know you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
We know that you've seen this shit.
We don't need to show you how she finds him or anything like that.
Because we showed you a 30-second end credit Easter egg that we know that you watched 30 times.
But that's smart because this is a 3-hour movie. Could you imagine if they spent 30 minutes on that?
Exactly.
Like, cut that out. Like, okay.
Okay. Tony Stark lands. He gets out of the plane, and that boy is fucking out of his mind. And I'll tell you what, like he looked shit.
I don't know if they did like a body double kind of thing, like they did for Cap in the first Avenger.
Like he looks emaciated. Mm-hmm. He looks like he hasn't eaten much in days.
I mean, in 20 some, like that's amazing thing in 20 some days. That's what you probably look like with little water and food. But it was played really well, and you see the emotion because, like, again, like Tony Stark had seen this happening. Like this was his vision. This is what he was wanting to prep people for, and Captain America, who he knew his buddy killed his parents. So they haven't even met since Civil War.
Yeah,
like that was their first meeting. So there's still a lot of animosity there.
Yeah,
and you could feel that tension so much so that like Tony Stark collapsed on the ground. And so what I like about saying but what you jump right into it too, and I think this movie did a great job with it, is like this was 20 some days after Infinity War,
right?
And so I think a lot of people knew that was kind of going to happen. I heard a lot of stuff people talk about, like they're going to go after Thanos and fail again. Like that was kind of some of the stuff that was floating around. But I think it's
I blacked out my internet for like 36 hours.
Yeah, it didn't mess with my I like kind of seeing some of that stuff just to kind of get an idea what other people think.
So the US premiere was Monday.
Yeah.
The press screenings were Tuesday. So Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning was when I was like, okay, I'm done. No internet, no nothing. Until the movie.
All the stuff I saw was like weeks before that. So it's like people theorizing before they've even had a chance. It's not like spoiler stuff. It's like people saying like, oh, I bet.
Okay, so you get this plan. Like all of a sudden there's like, hey, Rocket's like, hey, here I'm pretty sure he's here. Mm-hmm. So let's go here. So they're all like, fuck yeah, let's go there.
Well, I like how they found him too, because it's like we had this huge surge on Earth, and then 2 days ago there was one here.
Yeah.
Because I think they all still had a lot of hope. It was still kind of like, I'm trying to think the best way to explain it, because after Infinity War, I felt like everybody had it's kind of like the phases of grief. Like at this point, it's anger.
Yeah.
Like screw this, we're going here, we're stopping it.
Yeah.
We're 20 days in, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
So they figure out where it is. Some comedic stuff like who here has flown in space, and like nobody but 2 of them have.
Right.
And they get there.
And so far, you're like, okay, like they're gonna go fight Thanos.
Yeah.
But then I'm sitting there and I'm going like, we're already going to fight. Like there's like what's gonna happen along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so they land on the planet. They chop off his fucking hand right off the jump.
Yeah.
Right off the jump. Fucking Carol Danvers shows up and beats the shit out of him, gets his hand chopped off, and then
it's a beaten Thanos too. Like he doesn't look big and bad. He's all burnt up,
wearing a t-shirt. Yeah. He's just kind of hanging out.
He's just like, I'm done.
Picking fruit.
Do you think in that moment, do you think Thanos thought what he did was wrong?
No.
I feel like it's a different Thanos than the one we see later in the movie.
Well, because he's because he's done. And so it's like a relief thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, hey, I climbed to the top of the mountain. I got my Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Now I'm just chilling out.
But it didn't really feel like a win though. Like he felt like he looked. Well, maybe it was because when he destroyed the rings, that took every last bit of energy he had. Which, when you look at the bookends of it, like him destroying the ring is what kind of probably killed Thanos. Like he probably would have lived a little bit longer, but they just sped it up. But spoilers jumping way ahead, using those rings is what killed one of our favorite characters.
Oh, well.
So kind of similar story there.
So then he explains, oh, I used the stones to destroy the stones, so they're gone. They're gone forever. Like, they're not coming back, and everything that I did is now permanent.
Yeah. What do you say? I'm the inevitable or something like that?
I'm inevitable. And then Thor fucking chops his head off.
Well, Thor is the character that, he looks like the one that's the most beaten, because, when they say, like, what'd you do that for? He's like, I went for the head.
Yeah.
And then he just leaves. And, he's the one that broods the most, because I think he felt like, again, you can tell easily, he was the one that felt like he screwed up. Like, I could have stopped all of this from happening, and I didn't.
Right. Okay, so wait. So let's stop right here. Okay? So we are now 15, 20 minutes into a 3-hour movie. And now we finally see the fucking title card for the movie. And that's the point that I was fucking like, well, now what?
Yeah.
That was like, I might have even said it out loud because I was like,
were you not expecting time travel in this at all?
No, totally wasn't. I was sitting there going, well, what the fuck are they going to do now? Like, what the fuck am I going to watch for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes?
So
we're 20 minutes in. They just fucking decapitated the main villain from the last movie that killed everybody. And they're saying that, oh, well, shit, like everything he did, you can't be undone. So I'm like, well, what the fuck's gonna go? Where's this movie gonna go?
So were you expecting like the next half that you saw that was the end credit? That's what you thought it was. It was the end credit scene was the next 2.5 hours.
I'm like, what are we gonna? No, I was genuinely fucking befuddled.
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking bumfuzzled as to where the goddamn shit this movie was gonna go at this point. And I'm 20 minutes in. You've seen so you're 20 minutes in. You've seen pretty much everything that you saw in the trailer.
Yeah. There wasn't much.
Like everything you saw in the trailer, except for maybe one scene where they're walking in suits.
Oh yeah.
Aside from that, everything else that you've seen, you pretty much saw in the trailer.
Yeah, which I think.
So now good. I'm like, well, now what?
Yeah, you have no expectation. See, I kind of listened to some theory people like way early on, and time travel is one that they kind of talked about. So I was kind of like, I think that might be where they're going.
Yeah.
And again, whenever you think of like superhero stuff, time travel is always an option. But like you said, you see that 20 minutes, and you're 20 days in. Like that's the other big question is like, well, when is this taking place?
Right.
And then you see up on the screen 5
years later, and I'm like, what?
That's the whole crowd's like, oh. Because, like, I mean, once I saw 5, I was like, it's going to be years. Like, there's no way it's 5 days or 5 months. It's 5 years later.
Yeah.
And it was really, like, that whole, like, the thought process of there is, like, okay, so Thanos did his thing. And, you go in and you're seeing this, like, group therapy session. And a guy's talking about going on a date with a guy and how, like, at some point, it's just, like, moving on from death.
Yeah.
You grieve and then you have to move on and live.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it was just because like the first bit was like I think just anger, and then like here it's like is it a little bit of hopelessness, is a little bit of like hope if there is any.
Yeah.
And you really get that when you see Tony Stark what he did with his life.
Yeah.
He's got a daughter. He's got Pepper and them are married.
100% moved on.
I was very concerned in this movie when I saw his daughter, and they started talking time travel. I was concerned that they were going to go back in time and he was going to have to sacrifice his daughter.
I thought about that too.
And I was like, I am not emotionally prepared for this.
Okay. So now we're 5 years later, and you see, kind of wherever you get that you spend about 10 minutes seeing where everybody's at, what everybody's doing.
They're all kind of like keeping the peace a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It seems like the big challenge too with this was Ronan was like going around killing all the bad guys.
Yeah,
which I'm prepared to talk about him at some point because
he's just fucking shit up.
Yeah,
he's fucking everybody's couch.
He's going to the Mexican cartel. Then he goes to Japan for the Yakuza, I'm guessing. And it was so like obviously it's one of like the big bad for the Yakuzas. And he's there, he's talking Japanese with them, and the guy's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, Thanos took like half the people,
right? And
I get the other half, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, okay, so wait, you're jumping ahead.
That's pretty far ahead, yeah.
You're jumping ahead. Okay, so you get 10, 15 minutes of because we gotta go through this chronologically. I feel so you figure out where everybody's at, and then you're like, okay, and then Shawn, and then a rat saves the universe.
The superhero of this is the rat.
The superhero is the
Master
rat.
Splinter.
A rat saves the universe.
Master Splinter saved the universe because soon Disney's going to own that too, probably.
Probably.
So we're going to have Master Splinter come and save this universe.
So you have this fucking rat that ends up turning on the quantum drive, and out pops fucking Ant-Man.
Yeah. the guy who's
just been hanging out in the quantum realm for like 5 hours.
Yeah. He said it was 5 hours to him.
Yeah.
Which again, like that, like, could you imagine like popping in and out like that, and you come to and you're like, where the fuck is everybody?
Yeah. Why am I in a garage?
Yeah.
Why am I covered with trash?
Some creepy kid rides by on a bike. You're like, what the hell happened here? And he just looks at you and runs away. Doesn't even tell you. Which, again, like,
I was waiting for the kid to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Outlander! We have your woman! I don't have a woman. I have a woman. Wait a minute. How do you know?
And I think this was a big movie about relationships too, because each of those characters you saw, like him, like when he figures out what's going on, he goes to that vanishing thing, and who's he looking for? He's looking for his daughter.
Yeah.
He's looking for the girl he's with,
Janet.
Wasp. And he sees his name, which that would fucking blow your mind away,
right?
And he doesn't see his daughter, so he runs to his house and sees his daughter. She's 5 years older than what he remembers, obviously. But it was definitely like this big embrace of like, oh my, like it's. I've never had to experience this, and I hope to God I never have to. But you think of like big tragedies that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like 9/11 would be one example. Pearl Harbor would have been one where this event happens somewhere, and you're like, oh my God, somebody I love is there, and like you have this like hopelessness, like I can't get a hold of them.
Yep.
And you never.
And then you're like, closure. And then 5 years later, they just fucking show up.
Yeah.
And they look exactly. That's the other thing is like, she's 5 years older.
That's
he's
true,
not.
Yeah.
He looks exactly the fucking same.
Well, I was even thinking the reverse of it with him. Like he doesn't know what happened to her.
Right.
She could be dead or alive. He just doesn't know.
Yeah.
But you get that embrace of those two, and they're able to get together, and it kicks him into overdrive to go and find the Avengers, which he had never met besides on that battlefield during Civil War.
No. Yeah.
But he talks some nonsense about time travel, and that's when they go and see Tony Stark. We see that he's got a daughter,
right?
And definitely does not want anything to do with this, because I think a lot of it I think had to do with his family. I don't think they touched on it enough, but I feel like some of the concern there would be like losing the life that he has.
No, yeah, 100%. Like that's what he's holding on to.
Because they even had the subtle thing where he's talking about with them getting in there. He's like, okay, snap everybody back, but don't reverse anything that's happened.
Right.
Which again, I was not emotionally prepared for that scenario where he had to sacrifice his daughter. Like I was not going to be able to.
I can't deal with this. Like, don't do this.
You took away Clint's wife and his kids. Like don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. So then they go and see Hulk. Okay, so now, what's your opinion on Hulk?
I always think Smart Hulk's kind of cool. It was a little bit weird that in this universe, which again, it's 5 years later, so maybe everybody's kind of grown, but he's kind of like a pop icon.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge Hulk fan, but I think that if you were, I don't think that you would like this.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd like the way this movie treated the Hulk.
You didn't really get any back. They tell him like he basically did some experiments and got them both to get the brain and the brawn.
I like the concept, Smart Hulk, but when really, what did he really do?
Yeah, good point. He kind of started some of the sciencey stuff.
Like he started some of the sciencey stuff, but he, by his own admission, is not very good at it.
Even when they went in the time travel stuff, he didn't help anybody.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
And then
he's kind of a non-character in this.
And then he didn't really do much for the battle at the end either. You don't really see much of him in the third act.
Yeah, I think there's one scene of him smashing some stuff, and it's kind of done.
Yeah,
that's a good point. They really didn't treat the Hulk very well.
No, you don't really get much out of the Hulk in this movie.
And it's weird too because he was.
I felt like the Hulk was like Captain Exposition in this movie.
Yeah, I see that. He's the character you build inside your D&D campaign to be like, okay, they're not getting it. Let me spell it out for you.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good point. Because you look where we left him in Infinity Wars. He was in the Hulkbuster outfit because Hulk wouldn't come out.
Right.
And then all of a sudden in this movie, it's a year later for our time, 5 years later in this world. Because he didn't even go to Thanos' planet to fight, right?
No, he was on Earth.
Where was he after Infinity War?
He stayed on Earth.
He just stayed on Earth?
Yeah. Well, because he was with Thor. at the beginning of Infinity War,
Mm-hmm.
and then Heimdall sent him on the Bifrost to New York, where he warned everybody.
Yeah.
And then he stayed, and then he was on Earth, and then by you get to the end of Infinity War, he's in Wakanda, and then
but yeah, when
he just stays on Earth.
He was at HQ when they were like, "We're going to go fight Thanos." I don't recall if he said anything about not going though.
Well, so through the course of this movie, he stayed on Earth the whole time. He figures out how Hulk and Bruce can coalesce, and then, like I said, he's Captain Exposition through most of the movie, kind of supervisory role when it comes to like pushing buttons.
Because even with getting the Time Stone, it basically exposes her to like, oh wait, maybe I made a mistake.
No, that's a good point. He does. I guess if you're trying to figure out what he does end up. He is the one that gets the Time Stone in this movie.
But yeah, again, I think it's Hulk Exposition.
Yeah, he's Captain Exposition in this movie.
That kind of ruins that a little bit for me. I feel like they should. But again, I mean, how many characters do they have in this movie?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's going to be.
You're not expecting everybody to get like a
magical moment.
Not everybody's going to get their superhero moment, but in terms of the core Avengers as we know them, I would say that I felt like he got the least amount of hero treatment.
Yeah, because even at the end, he's just pushing buttons. He's not really doing a whole lot.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the big thing, with him was that you get, Hulk and Banner together. Yeah. So, you get Smart Hulk.
Which is a big thing in the comics. But Banner's not really part of that at all, right? It's actually Hulk that's smart.
God, I don't know.
Okay.
Again, like I'm not a huge Hulk fan. Yeah. I mean, like he's okay. So, but I guess I'm just saying, like, if you're a super Hulk fan, I don't think you're gonna, 100% like the way he's put out in this movie.
I might poke around for that because that'd be kind of interesting to see like that Hulk suit, like Hulk's my religion, and they see this like,
yeah.
Way to ruin my Hulk.
So. Okay, so you go and see the Hulk. You're working on the whole time. You're trying to figure out the whole time travel thing. Meanwhile, fucking Stark figures it out.
He does.
He's sitting there and he's like, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
I did it."
And he's questioning that. It's like, okay, do I finish it?
Yeah.
And Pepper Potts is like, could you not?
Yeah.
And so he builds it and he knows what they're doing. He shows up. Him and Cap kind of just bury the hatchet right away. Which I think if you discover, okay, I figured out how we could do this. Let's put the fact that your buddy killed my parents.
Right.
And let's do this.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so now we're getting into the description of what the plan is of what was actually going to happen. Now here's the thing that I like, okay? I've always said, and I've said this about countless things, movies, television shows, a bunch of shit. Time travel fucks everything up, okay? Time travel just fucks with everything.
It introduces every plot hole you can think of.
100%, okay? The thing that I appreciated the most about this is the first time travel movie I feel that realistically acknowledges that time travel fucks everything up.
Well, they did a good job with Hulk. He talks with this.
He's talking with Ant-Man and Rhodey, and they're all sitting there, and he's like, "Are you just reciting the plot of Back to the Future too?" And he's like, "Well, kinda." He's like, "That's not how time travel works." And then Rhodey's like, "Well, why don't we just go back in time and like just kill baby Thanos?"
Yeah, you get the baby Hitler.
Yeah, and he's like, "Number one, that's horrible. Number two, that's not how time travel works."
I like as they're going through different time travel things. This is the thing I laughed at that nobody did. He's like, Back to the Future, Terminator. He's like Quantum Leap, and I busted out laughing. Nobody in the audience laughed.
One, Die Hard.
That one wasn't one.
Okay, that wasn't one.
But I agree. Like going in and having the idea that this is going to be time travel, I was a little nervous because again, time travel messes everything up.
It does.
I think they did a good job with it. Now, there's only one plot hole. There's two plot holes when I left the theater. Like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how are they going to solve this?
Right.
One was Thor's hammer because, he gets it, he brings it back. But I forgot as Cap's leaving.
Cap takes the hammer with him. Yeah.
So he's taking it back to where it belongs.
Right.
Now, the only one that doesn't get solved is when they're going to get the Tesseract.
Right.
And they're trying to take Loki down and get him arrested.
Right.
And that whole plan falls apart.
Right.
And Loki leaves with a Tesseract.
Right.
They don't address that again at all in this movie.
Well, they don't address it. However, and this is the meta thinking here, but Loki is getting his own show.
Yeah. That's why I'm wondering.
That's how you get Loki into, that's how you shoehorn Loki into having a show. This is how he gets out.
This is this universe of Loki.
Yeah. But so it's the space, but keep in mind now this is the space stone. So when he uses it, this is 2012 Loki.
Yeah.
Or 2013 Loki. This isn't 2019 Loki.
Yeah.
So for 6 years, apparently there's two Lokis running around.
How so? Because it would have been the same Loki. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just been a different time. That's where it entered. This is the only one where it's kind of like a different. Like this one splits off. Because what happened in that timeline when the Tesseract is now in Loki's hands?
Yeah.
So that's the only one that kind of left anything open. Everything else seemed kind of like because you're taking everything back to the exact moment that you took it. So the timelines still kind of fall forward. And you just kind of do the reverse. It's kind of like almost like an infinite loop type thing.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that I saw that was kind of left open.
The only plot hole. Here's the plot hole that I found is the Thanos that they fight in the third act of this movie is 2014 Thanos.
Yeah, because she brings him into 2019.
So now what happens to? Because if 2014 Thanos turns to ash, where does his timeline stops then? Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my only hitch.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those that I think if you think too hard about it, you're going to break it.
Exactly, because time travel fucks everything up.
But at least they did it in somewhat of a way that because the one thing they didn't do too is they didn't send everybody back in time. And start from there. They said, no, we're here in 2019. We can go do something in the past, bring it here, fix this, and then go back.
Right.
But we can't go back and that's kind of like the baby Hitler thing. We can't go back and kill baby Thanos because that'll screw everything up.
Right.
We can only, but
why can't we just go back and kill baby Thanos? Number one, that's horrible. Well, it's Thanos.
But I like I said, I enjoyed the time travel part of this, and I like because to me what this felt like too.
I felt like this was kinder to time travel than most movies and TV shows that you see about time travel. Because usually what happens is they use it and then fuck something up, and then they come back and they're like, "Why is everything so fucked up?"
Yeah,
like because it's time travel, idiot.
Yeah, it doesn't do good.
Yeah, so like at least they acknowledge that like, hey, we should be careful because we could seriously fuck shit up.
The one thing I thought was cool with it, so with Infinity War and this time travel, I felt like it felt very comic book specific to me. So like in this one, I felt like each character had been like their one shot in their comic series that was based in a big, like, whenever you have like, this one would be like in-game series, so Hawkeye has his specific in-game episode in his run, and they all had that, and it all led to like this big annual issue, which was the battle on Earth, when Thanos comes back from the past. I thought like Infinity Wars did a little bit with that too, but
a little
because you kind of got it too, where like each of these characters go on their own specific missions. You got who was it? It was Stark, Hulk, and Ant-Man going to New York in 2012, and Cap to get 3 stones.
Right.
And a couple of them go to get 2 stones.
And then you had Rhodey and Nebula to get the Power Stone. You had Hawkeye and Widow
Yeah.
going to get the Soul Stone.
Talk about the Soul Stone.
Okay, so as soon as they were getting on the ship and they're like, we're going to go get the Soul Stone, I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen.
Somebody doesn't know about the Soul Stone.
Exactly. Okay.
Somebody didn't watch the first movie.
Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, and then which one are we missing? And then Rocket and Thor go to get the Reality Stone. Oh, that was okay. Wait. Beat builds back the truck up. 100%. Okay. Chris Hemsworth blew me fucking away in this movie.
Yes, he hit so many ranges. Like
so like you see Chris Hemsworth and you're thinking like he's a blonde pretty boy. He's gonna he does action, that's his thing. Chris Hemsworth, to me, why the fuck is this man not a lead in a comedy? Not just like a try to touch all genres kind of movie. Like, I want to see Chris Hemsworth in a legit fucking comedy,
like a rom-com kind of thing.
Not even a rom-com, just a straight up comedy movie.
Yeah,
because he's fucking funny.
He's good. Yeah,
Chris Hemsworth is fucking funny as shit, and because he can play it so goddamn well.
Well, I think he really got it in Ragnarok where they let him go free, and then
a little bit, yeah.
I know everybody said Ghostbusters, like that's like legit, like he's the best part of it.
I've heard that too. I didn't watch Ghostbusters, but the people that I knew that did see it said that Chris Hemsworth was the shining star in that movie.
Yeah. Well, and then you have Men in Black coming out soon. It seems like he's kind of got that funny, like just carefree attitude. I know he's in Reboot, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
Yes.
Too. And what I heard is like Kevin Smith, when he was directing, he was like, completely Ragnarok this. He's like, okay, gotcha.
I know exactly what to do.
But with him in this, like, so you see the battle with Thanos, the second battle where he kills him, and he seems broken. Like he seems like a guy who feels like he's completely screwed up.
Yeah.
And so he creates New Asgard, and instead of being the leader of Asgard,
which was actually in the comics that Thor comes to Earth and they found New Asgard.
Does he get
like in Norway? No, he does not. You do not see Fat Thor.
Which was they walk up there and he's got this huge belly.
Oh my god,
that was awesome!
Huge belly and that fucking hair and his fucking he's
got like man boobs going on.
I loved it. I fucking loved it.
And the two characters from Ragnarok were still alive. Were his roommates.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, I can finally cosplay as a superhero.
Got the big beard.
I know. I was like, I could be a superhero now.
Oh, I loved it. And the only way they get him back on is with beer. And so they get back. So they're trying to figure out where all the stones are.
Yeah.
And he's the first one to go. He's going on about the ether, and he just gives this like big like drunken monologue.
Yeah.
And when they see him sitting on the chair after the plan, it's like, is he sleeping? Like, no, I think he's dead. But he was again,
as soon as he put the glasses on, I totally got the Lebowski vibe.
Oh yeah,
I felt like he was 100% channeling the dude.
Yeah, I get that. But he had like the big range. Like to me, like you laughed at him, you cried with him, you felt sad with him.
Yeah.
And again, this was like a very like relationship heavy movie. Like if you think of time travel, if you had that ability, like going and seeing those loved ones that are no longer here, would just be like that. Like when he saw his mom, it was like why? Like you're there for a mission, but you may remember, but then you kind of forget because you're on a mission.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you see your mom, you're like, oh yeah. And today's the day she dies, and to have that moment to get to talk to her, and the mother instinct too when she runs into him, knowing that it's not her Thor of that time, I thought was great. And you get Natalie Portman for 2 minutes.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it is what it is.
She's kind of distanced herself from this whole thing, hasn't
she? A little, which is okay, so. So when it comes to them traveling back in time, now here's what I really liked about that is we've had 11 movies or 20, you know,
Yeah,
sorry,
21
20,
movies, yeah.
21 movies over 11 years. So now we're going to travel back to these movies that we watched, and we get to see like bits of them that happen again. And now we're going to see stuff that apparently happens around it.
Well, and I love that in the movies too. It was like the more realistic stuff too. Like when Quill's dancing, you don't hear the music where it's like, this is bad. You just hear him singing, which was great. You know, the whole ether spot, that's a movie a lot of people didn't like, but it was kind of clever here. And then in basically the first Avengers, you see Hulk going batshit crazy, beating shit.
Right.
You know, you see the end of it as they're taking Loki down, and you know, Hulk once again is like, no, you take the stairs. Hulk hates the stairs. No stairs. Too many stairs.
But okay, so that point there, at that point, I felt like this was a letter. This was like a total fan service letter, because
a little bit,
because and I mean that in the best possible way, because the more that you watch those movies, the more that you watched all these movies, and the more that you remembered from all these movies, the better it was.
It's kind of like the director's cut of a movie where you get to see a little bit of extra stuff that wasn't in the original.
Like I'm sitting there watching, you know, and I was like, oh my, holy shit, I remember that bit in the Avengers. Oh shit, like Bruce is going to Bleecker Street, and I'm like, and then as soon as I see fucking Tilda Swinton, I was like, oh, that's right. It's 5 years before. So Strange doesn't have the time stone. Fucking the Ancient One does.
But she knew about him too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was I lost my train of
and
thought.
she's the one that explains. She's the one that explains, like, you can't just take this and go do a thing.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, and that's when Banner comes up with like, well, what if I take it and then just bring it right back?
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
And that's where she kind of made the realizations, like, oh, because
and also made and also, you know, once Hulk says that Strange gave up the stone, then she was like, well, if he gave up the stone, he's supposed to be the fucking Sorcerer Supreme.
He wouldn't make a mistake, and that's where Hulk is like, well, maybe he just made a mistake, and she's like, no, maybe I made the mistake.
Yeah.
You're talking fan service. The one like bit in that whole like first Avengers thing that I thought was very much comic fan service. So as they're sitting there watching all this go on, they're like, oh, you know, that's a shield, but it's actually Hydra.
Right.
But we didn't know it at that time.
No, we didn't.
So we see Cap, you know, hurry up.
And who the fuck, when did they fucking pulled Robert Redford in for like a 30-second scene?
Well, Michelle Pfeiffer's in it for nothing.
Yeah. You pull in Robert Redford for a 30-second scene and then you're like, yeah, because he was fucking partially, he was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But he's actually with Hydra. I was like, oh my fucking God.
But you want fan service. So you see Cap go down, press the button. So he gets on the elevator with them.
Yep.
And he's trying to get a hold of it. And they're all like, from the very recent comic, we see him lean in. What's he say?
He says, Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. And they're like, oh, fuck, we got Cap Hydra.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Shaking his American ass.
As soon as he got onto the elevator, did you not think that he was just going to beat the shit out of everybody in the elevator?
It was going to be a Winter Soldier type.
It was going to be a Winter Soldier thing all over.
And I was okay with it.
I was 100% okay with that too.
But the Hail Hydra was like, oh, I mean, because that like little bit made it over the internet. Everyone was like, oh my God, he's been a Hydra spy forever.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That hit pop culture. That was like, hey, there's a comic where fucking Cap's a Hydra soldier. What the fuck? Okay.
So Soul Stone, should we talk a little bit more about that?
Or do you want to talk about Cap fighting Cap? Because I thought that was kind of cute.
It was cute, yeah.
The little, you know, I could do this all day. Yeah, I know.
That. So talking on that part, so I feel like Captain America, when he was in that phase, he was very much the goody two shoes. Yeah. He's grown. And he's kind of learned a little bit. And, you know, I love the reaction when, like you said, he's like, I could do this all day. Like, okay, yeah, I know. And then they fight, and it seemed like young Cap kind of gave it to old Cap a
little bit.
But then at the end, when he hits him with the Mind Stone, knocks him out, and he's bent over, he's like looking at him, he's like, "That is America's ass." And walks off.
That was nice.
But then, I mean, it's kind of like the blundering of time travel too. So you see Hulk come down and smash, Tony Stark.
Yeah,
and that's what gave Loki the ability to escape. Of course, Loki's the only one seeing this going on and being like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
He knows some tricks are going on.
And here's the thing is, I mean, who knows? Like maybe Loki shows back up and drops the Tesseract off because he doesn't want to fuck up the timeline either.
Maybe he might learn.
Like, who knows?
But even at this point, so like you said,
that's all speculation.
You said, so 2014 Thanos came to the future. So if Loki survived that, there's no Thanos in his timeline to kill him.
Yeah.
So he technically could still be alive.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows? Time travel, am I right?
Yeah. Soul Stone, though. So
Soul Stone, yeah.
Well, actually, let me back up a little. So we've talked about it before. I'm a big Hawkeye fan.
Right.
And we didn't get to see him in Infinity War, but we got to see him in the beginning of this, and it totally kind of tore my heart to see that happen.
Yeah.
And so he was the first one to test it out because he's in this Ronin character. I think he is kind of like, basically looking for somebody to kill him or something to kill him.
Yep.
And so he is the first one to experiment with the time travel. He goes back to his farm at a time when his family is still alive. Yep. When this happened,
oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
I was expecting them to be like, "Hey, you know what? We kicked you in the balls last movie. We're kicking you in the balls a lot in this one." I was expecting him to show up as everything happened, and him to have to relive all that again.
Oh,
and again, I was like, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But it was still kind of sad because he got to hear his kids.
Sean, open your eyes. I can't.
But he didn't get to see his kids or anything, but he at least got to hear him and know that this thing worked.
Yeah.
So we see him go to the mountain for the Soul Stone.
Right.
We know what you have to do there, and then Black Widow and Hawkeye learn of that.
Right. Then they figure it out.
Yeah, and they both. It was like at this point I didn't know which one was going to die.
At this point, I was 100% convinced that Hawkeye was gonna.
I thought it was too.
I was 100% convinced Hawkeye was gonna be the one to die, and the reason I say that is because number one, I felt like you had Clinton lost everybody, and I think to a point he feels like the things that he's done over the course of the last 5 years are somewhat unforgivable.
Yeah, it's probably one of those like if his family did come back, it's like, hey, what'd you do the last 5 years?
Killed a lot of people, stabbed them in the face with swords
in your honor.
But okay, so there's that. So that's thing one. But thing two is also you're sitting there like again, this is the meta thinking. You're going, well, Black Widow's got a movie coming out, so they're not going to kill her off.
And I didn't realize. I guess it's a prequel.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize till after this movie.
No, I didn't realize that till after this movie either.
Hawkeye has a TV show coming up on the new Disney Plus. He's going to have one. So again, a little bit of meta, like, well, who's going to die here?
Yeah,
and does it matter? That's the other question you have to ask. But it was a great, like, you see Hawkeye. Who's it taking off first? It was her. He stops her. Then he takes off running. She shocks him. He shoots.
They're fighting over who's gonna kill themselves.
And at that point, like again, he blows her up. Like, okay, it's Hawkeye. Like,
yep, it's Hawkeye. Hawkeye did the jump. He jumped.
Yep. Nope. Getting shot with a little thingy bobber. And stuck to the wall. And again, like Hawkeye saying, like, don't do this to me. I mean, all like what he's seeing, like Black Widow and him were super close.
Oh.
Yeah. They get the Soul Stone and everybody comes back, but
it's the Soul Stone.
She's the only one that doesn't.
So everybody comes back after the little time heist. Oh no, because we're not done with the time heist yet. Okay, so Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone. Nebula and Rhodey get the Power Stone without much difficulty, except for the fact that Thanos shows up. So that's 2 stones down.
They go back in time to get the actually that's a good point.
You get the
Tesseract from the 70s, which was
Cap gets the Mind Stone and Hulk gets the Time Stone. Rocket and Thor get they get the reality stone. Not only do they get the reality stone, but Thor grabs his hammer.
Yeah, I love that.
That last two, he's like, I am worthy. And then off they go. So the only stone left is now the Tesseract because fucking Ant-Man and Iron Man kind of fucked the pooch there for a split second. And then they're like, well, number one, we have no way to get the stone now. Number two, how the fuck are we going to time travel? Because we've only got so much juice. And then Iron Man has the idea, oh, wait, we could
go even further back.
Yeah, we'll kill two birds, one stone. We'll get more time travel stuff, and we'll get the stone.
Which I like. So in that scene, they go back to the 70s.
They go back to 70s. They go back to the army base where apparently the Tesseract is.
Birth of Captain America.
Birthplace of Captain America.
We get our last Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, so the bumper sticker said "Enough said."
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, what he used to sign off.
It was. That's how he always signed off.
And it was a young Stan Lee, but I feel as Stan Lee's cameos.
Yeah, that one kind of. I felt like as far as his cameos went, that one was kind of.
I think if it wasn't his last one, I think with his last one, I felt like that should have been. Like, that's the one, like, you almost pause the movie because everybody's bursting into tears.
Yeah.
Whereas that one, it's like, oh, there's Stan Lee, and then it's like quick back into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, I mean, I think if the Marvel was his last one, that would be a really strong emotional one because it was him playing a character of himself.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not the worst thing ever, but.
No.
Jumping back, I mean, here's another relationship scenario that happens. Tony Stark sees his dad.
Tony Stark meets his dad.
Robert Downey Jr. played this. I mean, you know, you're a grown man, and you see your dad basically the same age as you are. He doesn't recognize you.
And then you gotta and keep in mind that they don't have like the 100% relationship.
Yeah.
Or they didn't have a 100% relationship.
But they talk about, he learns a little bit about his dad, that he's scared about having the kid.
Yeah.
He wants to do good by him.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, that was, I mean, again, just like the relationship between.
Fucking tugs at the heartstrings. Played me like a violin.
I mean, it's one of those things like, you know, you go back in that time, like when he hugs his dad, and his dad's probably like, what the fuck is this weirdo doing? He's like, you one of those beatniks?
Yeah.
You're trying to suck my dick, are you? No, I'm not. Dad, don't call me dad. That's weird. But, yeah, it was. I thought that was a really well played scene.
And then Jarvis puts him in the car, which, interestingly enough, finally connects a television show to the movies because the character that plays Jarvis was on Agent Carter.
Oh, okay, nice. So was he Jarvis in the TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So same actor, same character. Like you finally get that bridge from from all shows you get from Agent Carter. So as far as I've noticed, it seems like that's a character that has actually been done television and movies.
Oh, interesting.
With the Marvel thing.
Yeah, because like you said, they haven't really touched on that.
No, like none of the other shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, fucking Punisher, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to a degree. Nick Fury was in a little bit of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So we get all the stones back together.
Yeah, you finally got all the stones. So they're all back together. They're in the gauntlet. All we got to do is just snap some people back and we're all good.
Hulk does it.
Hulk snaps his fingers. Boom.
You see some birds come back. Hawkeye gets a phone call from his wife.
He gets a phone call.
Ant-Man's happy.
But and then everything explodes.
Yeah. We learned that
in that instant. I 100%. I was like, Ant-Man's dead.
I thought he was too.
I was like, they fucking killed Ant-Man.
I thought Ant-Man was dead. I thought Hawkeye was going to be dead in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh God! And so as the building's coming down, we see Rocket trapped.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't breathe. I can't I thought he was gone.
Yeah.
I thought we lost the rat. Not the rat, the raccoon.
The rabbit.
The rabbit. I just thought you were a Build-A-Bear there for a moment.
I like the fact that he's running through the halls in Asgard. He's getting chased by guards. The guards are calling him a rabbit.
Oh man, that was great. And I like that you didn't really see him get it. Again, I wonder if that's a Natalie Portman thing where she's like, listen, I'll show up. I'll wear this black silky thing. I'll get out of bed, stand up and walk. That's all you're getting out of me.
That's it. 10 grand.
And a per diem. But yeah, so we see that big battle start. And
now we're finally into the third act of the movie.
Yeah, I actually almost thought like that was going to be the end of it. Like when they all get away and they kind of start like running towards each other to start the first run of that battle.
Yeah.
I thought that was over. Like I thought that's where it was going to end.
Oh God, no.
I don't know why.
Do you know how much everybody would lose their fucking mind?
Yeah. Like it's like a big like splash, like 2-page screen. I'm glad they didn't. Like I'm glad that obviously they kept going with it.
Oh, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
But you see a great battle going on, and the moment my crowd,
Fat Thor gets slaps on the outfit.
He what's it called? Braids his beard.
Yeah,
he's got the not iceberg.
I like the fact that he did not turn into Thin Thor.
Yeah. What I like too is we was dual wielding his weapons.
Yeah,
that was badass.
That was kind of badass.
So we see. I mean, so that's what I think is cool. Is like when you first see Thanos in this movie, they take care of him no problem. Like it's literally not a fight. This younger Thanos, he is kicking all of their ass.
Yeah, he is.
Like there was multiple times
handedly.
I'm like, he just killed Cap. He just killed Tony.
Yeah.
You know, and he gets Thor down, has his axe, and is pushing it down into him.
Yeah.
And everybody around me is like, no. And you see,
because again, you're sitting there and you're like, these are the three characters: Iron Man, Cap, and Thor. These are the three characters you're expecting something bad to happen.
Yeah. You're expecting one more or more of them to die in this. Because everybody was expecting it last movie.
Yeah. You're expecting something bad to happen to one of these three guys in the movie. So then you're seeing that and you're like, he's dead. He's dead. They're going to kill Thor.
What's he going to do?
He's going to...
You see his hammer move. I'm like, oh, he's gonna take his hammer and swing it and hit him in the head.
And he does. He hits him in the head.
Well, somebody hits him in the head. When he's got him pinned down, who's wielding that hammer, Rich?
Captain America's wielding that hammer.
My heart was racing because I'm like, what the fuck am I seeing right now?
Yeah.
Because I know
my theater exploded. That was a moment where I fucking audibly went, oh shit.
And he was like legit, and I love Thor's like, I knew it.
Yeah. There was, like earlier when I was talking about like I wasn't paying attention to the way the crowd was reacting. I wasn't reacting with the crowd. I was just reacting, and the crowd happened to be doing the same thing. That was a moment where I like audibly was like, "Holy fuck!" and apparently everybody else thought so too.
Which I love, because I mean that's happened 3 times in comic books where he's wielded.
Correct.
I think 1 he threw it, and 2
I've said it in countless podcasts. I was like, Cap's wielded that fucking hammer. Cap's the only other person I can think of that has fucking wielded that hammer.
And in Age of Ultron, they teased it when they're all doing that drinking game.
Yeah,
he grabs it and it moves a little bit. And seeing that moment was just so awesome.
Not only did he use the hammer, he used the hammer well. He's fucking swinging it. He's twirling it. He fucking hits him with it. He's channeling lightning with it.
Yo, yeah, that's right. And there's a scene where he's got the axe. What's the axe name? I can't remember. Stormbreaker. He's got Stormbreaker, and Thor's got the hammer, and they kind of look at you like, no. They just switch it.
Thor's like, no, you get the little one.
Yeah. So great. Loved it. So everybody's looking beaten still.
Cap's shield gets broken in half.
And then you hear Falcon.
Yeah.
Sam Wilson.
And at that point, did you not completely forget that fucking Hulk snapped his fingers like 20 minutes before?
Hulk
snapped his fingers 20 minutes before, and then you're like, oh yeah, everybody's fucking alive.
I was waiting for him to show up, but I just didn't know how they were going to show up. But you see everybody twirling, doing their thing.
Yeah.
Getting everybody out.
Portals everywhere.
See Spider-Man, Strange, Guardians.
Spider-Man got a big reaction from the crowd I was in.
Ours too, yeah.
Yeah.
So of the moments that I teared up, so when you see Spider-Man fighting, he runs up to Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mr. Stark, like, you remember when we were on the planet, like this weird thing happened, I didn't feel good, and like 5 minutes later I wake up, it's Doctor Strange is like, oh my God, it's been 5 years ago, and Stark just grabs him and hugs him.
Yeah.
And oh man, waterworks. Because it was, I mean, that's like what you're expecting, like you were waiting for that moment to happen. Like the embrace of Spider-Man. Yeah, so you get everybody fighting. It's looking bad. You see we haven't really talked much about Captain Marvel. And I kind of feel like she didn't really play a big part in this movie.
My wife was like fucking hands down, that was her moment.
When she showed up.
When Captain Marvel showed up. I asked her, I was like, what was your what was your yay moment? And she said it was Captain Marvel. I did like the fact that the entire okay, so a couple things. There's in that whole third act, there is one person. There was only one person who handedly fucking hands Thanos his ass.
Yeah,
easily. One person, and it was Scarlet Witch.
I think. Well, I mean, there's the point where
Scarlet Witch was the only person Thanos fought that at one point he had to ask for help. Like, she's fucking. He's like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you will. Like, she's ripping his armor off and choking him to death.
But with Captain
and
Marvel,
then he's like, fucking shoot the like every gun on the ship. Yeah, just shoot it.
That was before Captain Marvel showed
up.
Right?
It was. Yeah, you're right. It was. So he's like, shoot every gun on the ship. And they're like, we're gonna hit our own guys. He's like, do what the fuck I say. Did I goddamn stutter?
Captain Marvel put up a pretty good fight though, because he headbutts her and she just kind of like looks at him like, what you got, bro?
Yeah. And then all the guns point up and they're like, what the fuck are they aiming at?
I still feel like, I mean, for what Captain Marvel the movie gave us, like everybody was like, this is the person that's gonna basically defeat Thanos.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what you were getting like teased.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because she was, if we're gonna see like in Captain Marvel 2, like she was fighting on a lot of other planets.
Maybe
so she couldn't get there.
Well, I mean, the only way he was able to fend her off is he had to like actually rip a stone off the glove and hit her with it.
Which was badass.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, and that kind of starts leading us up to our climax of this movie. So he does that. He hits her, puts it back in. He's by himself, and you see Doctor Strange holding up this water fountain. He looks over it. Tony Stark, basically letting him know this is the moment.
Because as the battle starts, Tony says to Strange, he's like, you said 14 million possibilities. Is this the one? And he's like, if I tell you, then it won't happen.
Yeah.
Which is, because at that point, if he's like, yeah, but you gotta die.
Yeah. It's gonna mess with
it's gonna fuck the whole thing up. It wasn't until that very last moment that he just looks at him and he's like,
Tony Stark knows what to do.
Yeah.
So were you expecting, like, so of the ending, was that what you were expecting?
I don't know. Once he got the gems.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Then you're like, well, he's dead.
And it's kind of just what it was before. He snaps his fingers.
Or once he's about to snap his fingers, I was like, Tony stole the gems.
Which is interesting because you look at like Hulk barely survived it.
Yeah.
Tony Stark didn't. And again, you get the moment with him and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like
it's like Infinity War in reverse.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But everybody's saying that they won.
Yeah.
And you at least get to see that his kid's still alive. So his kid he didn't have to sacrifice his kid. Spider-Man's still alive.
Yeah.
And really you go back to where they talk about like early on, it's like we won't trade one life for another.
Right.
And they kind of did here. Like Tony traded his life for everybody else's.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they traded a lot of lives.
But I mean, he gets to be the hero. And like of all out of between Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, I think Iron Man was the one I was expecting most to not be around.
Yeah, me too.
But like, what a way to go.
Yeah. Well, I like too that so the two big ones that I think people are saying one of these or both of these was Cap and Tony Stark. So you see Tony Stark go the hero.
Right.
So they're wrapping everything up. They have a great funeral for him. You see
Tony Stark Tony Stark gets to have a normal life.
Yeah, for 5 years he did.
He gets to have a normal life, and do his thing. And he ends up, having to make the hero play.
Yeah.
Cap, who has lived it so long as being the hero, Cap gets, to have his normal life. And that's
what I was trying to allude to, though, is I'm glad that they didn't have both of them die as like a hero like that.
Agreed.
I like that they did it this way. It's like you have one specific hero for this moment because Cap's been a hero throughout for other things.
Yeah.
And so he does the mission to drop everything back off where it goes, the hammer, the stones, whatever else he needs to do.
Yeah.
But then instead of, and when they said, like I was expecting him to maybe come back and be like, oh my God, like we got to do this. We fucked something up or we got to, like, I was expecting that to lead to like the next phase.
Yeah.
But instead it's like he overshot us. And the people I was with, I smacked them. I'm like, oh,
is that what you did? I totally 100% forgot about that whole thing.
Because I'm a romantic at heart. And I knew he was going back.
Of course you are.
And, we see old man Cap there.
Yeah.
He's got the ring on his hand.
Yeah.
He's got the shield.
Yeah.
And we
gives it to Falcon.
Yeah, the new Cap. The only thing I didn't like about that little bit is like I'm glad that Sam got it because I know Sam's like a big like he holds the shield for a while in the series, which is cool. But Bucky,
I was honestly expecting Bucky to get it.
No, I was pretty sure it'd be Falcon. And I know they've got a Falcon and Winter Soldier.
They do
series too.
They do.
But Bucky didn't like get any moment with Cap at the end of this.
Well, he kind of did because at the end, right before Cap takes off to go give these stones back, he gives Bucky a hug and he's like, don't do anything stupid. He's like, oh, I can't. You're going to take all the stupid with you.
Mm.
That's exactly what Cap and Bucky said to each other right before Bucky left for war.
Oh, okay.
That was the exact same exchange they had right before Bucky left.
Okay, I missed that part then. So I guess that makes a little bit more sense. So he got the first moment with him before he left.
Right.
And Wilson got the one after. Okay,
yeah.
I buy that a little bit better. Because like Bucky's like, go talk to him. And then Bucky doesn't talk to him as old man Cap.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we didn't talk about this. So did you know who the weird kid was at the funeral?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know then or did you have to look it up?
I had to look it up.
Okay.
I know that now. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Everybody in the audience was because it's like, oh, there's Michelle Pfeiffer. There's, the Guardians. It's like, who the fuck is this kid?
Yeah.
Like, is this the Russo's kid? Like, did they sneak him in or something? But when you see what it is, like you look it up, it's like, it's the kid from Iron Man 3.
The kid from Iron Man 3. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Thanks for making me cry after the movie, assholes. But yeah, you see everything tidying up. Like Hawkeye, talks about hoping that.
Oh my God, fucking Favreau.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That one, fucking that one's
because that was a real moment.
Yeah, that snuck a dagger into my fucking heart because he's the one that fucking started the whole thing.
So you hungry? Yeah. What do you want? Cheeseburger? Your dad likes cheeseburger.
Stop it. Knock it off.
I'm going to get you all the cheeseburgers.
No.
Yeah, I know,
Knock it off.
You're getting glassy-eyed.
Knock it off, asshole.
I'm going to go see that again next week. I'm prepared to bawl my eyes out.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to see it in IMAX, too.
I want to see it by myself so that way I can cry and not be judged by my friends and family.
Like, how many people did you hear, like, holding it back when all that was going on?
Oh, probably. I wasn't paying attention to anybody else in the theater,
I mean,
Sean.
from all directions, you're... But I mean, you see it all you see Hawkeye kind of talking about how he wished that Black Widow knew what happened.
Yeah. And then Scarlet Witch says he wished she knew,
Yeah. We see Thor leaving with the Guardians.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Guardians 3 if he's in it.
I'm totally ready for Guardians 3.
Yeah.
I've heard that like Hemsworth himself he's like when it comes to Thor, he's like, I'll play it till I die.
That's pretty.
He's
awesome.
like, I'm totally fine. He's like, I'll play the character. He did say at one point he was getting bored with the character.
I could see it for like Thor 1 and 2 and Avengers for sure.
And I think that's why when you get to like Ragnarok and Infinity War and now Endgame, like he's kind of taken the character in a new direction.
Yeah. They're letting him play with it a little bit.
Yeah. Which I'm fine with. And so, like I said, he said he was getting bored with the character. Now I don't think he's bored. So, like, he's like, yeah, I'll keep doing this. Fuck it. Yeah. This is great.
Good paycheck, fun. You get the...
And I'm 100%, like, do it. Like, please. More of Thor.
So, yeah, we can see him with the Guardians. There's a awesome interaction between him and Quail.
Yeah.
Quill. Yeah, that's what I said. We know who's in charge. Yeah, we know who's in charge. Right? Yes, we do.
It's you.
Valkyrie getting to take over Asgard as the queen. I thought that was awesome.
That was nice. Like basically, like you know, to sum it up is like every single loose thread in the air, which is an Herculean task. Every single thread in the air that needed to be tied to something got tied to something. Yeah. Every single, you know, loose plot point when it came to all these 100 gajillion fucking people, you got to everything got cinched up.
Yep. Yeah, I think the only one they didn't really touch on Spider-Man too much at the end. But I know...
But we're getting another movie with that.
Yeah, which is supposed to be the end of Phase 3.
Which
I thought it was start of Phase 4, but everybody's like, no, that's Phase 3's end.
Yeah, which I didn't like. I don't like that. Yeah, this is the end. To me, this movie's the end.
Well, but they did that with Ant-Man. Ant-Man was the end of Phase 2, I think.
Yeah, but... Agreed, but I think
after Avengers, too.
Yeah, like this movie is an end.
The only reason I'm okay with that, I mean, I think you watch this, it's an end, but if you want to prep for Phase 4, then that's where Spider-Man kind of like is like more of an interlude. But the reason I'm kind of more okay with that is because at the end of this, we really didn't get anything. There was no like post-credit scene to kind of
exactly, and that again, like I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad there was no post-credit scene.
I think it does. It ties it up pretty well
because it's fucking like it's over, like it's done.
The thing I really enjoyed, since we didn't get anything with the actual universe, but we did get where, as the pre-credits finish, they have each of the main Avengers. So you start with Jeremy Renner.
That was nice.
I thought that was really really nice touch.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, as it gets through and people see what's going on.
The credits kind of led up to your core of, you know.
Yep. Everybody cheers for the main ones. And then Robert Downey Jr. jumps up there. But yeah, I'm going to go see this again. I probably see this two more times.
Me too.
I've got an IMAX in Chicago. I'm going to check it out, and I'll probably go with my father-in-law at some point. But yeah, I'm a fan. And as we're closing this out, Richard, you want to do any Richard's closing thoughts to tidy up this journey we've been on?
This was an end. And so now we're going to end because it's okay to end sometimes. Sometimes an ending is but a beginning. Don't look at me like that. That was poignant. That was deep.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping as we close this out.
Like I'm a beatnik or something.
You got a weird beard. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook. And remember, we are part of the Pod Bros Network.
The
podcast
end all and be all of podcast networks.
Pod Bros. Assemble.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Was there anything else before I close her out?
No.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for the show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
Nailed it. And we're not dust.